Is that good enough? All right, let's get going. Good evening. I go by Josh Hord. Some of you know me for creating and being the admin to several successful online history blogs and pages, which deal with Chicago street gangs and clubs. Now on Instagram, I go by VintageFiends. On YouTube, Westlove. On Facebook, I created and admin the popular group Chicago Greaser Gangs, the full story. Now, all of these have mentioned pages, it reached unprecedented levels of success, both in terms of my own capabilities, but also in the scope of the online world. Several thousand members on each platform. Most of you should know that before I created these pages, my humble beginnings began in this neighborhood, being a young member of the club Chi West, a famed street club and gang with the origins tracing back to the late 1950s in this very schoolyard of Chopin. Now, given that Chi West has had a turbulent history over the years, which some of it includes the leadership being taken down in federal trials, being a majority white club with some instances of racism against Hispanics, parts of the neighborhood being gentrified by these days, and also the decline in membership, that has led to many believing that the club is non-existent. But in reality, nothing could be further than the truth. With our original Motherland section right here still in operation, you could see some of our members that are sitting right to my left-hand side, and the neighborhood is not entirely gentrified yet. Some of us could still afford to live here. Now, for those instances of racism, while true for the older generations of ours, they have no place amongst us no more. We've had many Latino members over the years, and some of our good allies are some of the black clubs, such as the Unknown Vice Lords. Am I right here? It's no longer an accurate description of Chi West either. Now, you may be wondering why we gathered for this video here today. Frankly speaking, a majority of us could care less to appear on camera. But over the years, we've accumulated a fair share of online hate, which seems to originate from a specific certain few people. And after much deliberation and thought, we decided to put an end to this nonsense. The persons which you are about to learn have a deep history of abuse, lying, not being official members of their so-called clubs, and basically posing as street gang members, but they're not legit. To start this off today, we'll be looking at Mr. Tobias Chandler Francis of Somersworth, New Hampshire, age 42. Born into a family with a background in the music business, his father, Toby Francis Sr., being a front-of-house engineer for famous rock bands such as Aerosmith, Kanye West, Alicia Keys, and Ariana Grande. Now, his uncle, Elwood Francis, being the main bass tech, but also the eventual bass player for ZZ Top. Now, we all love ZZ Top, man. That's a cool band, man. That's a cool connection to have in your family, Toby. Toby Jr., as seen right here, has launched a very successful career of his own as a lead singer and songwriter for a band called Night Wounds, and then eventually founded the band post-punk rock group called Soft Kill, which was based out of Portland, Oregon. The group eventually settled into Chicago sometime in the mid-2010s. And now it is here that Toby Francis Jr. got heavily into his obsession with Chicago street clubs and gangs, subjecting his bandmates to endless lectures about various street clubs, their beefs, and histories. While it is understandable to be fascinated with such an interest, because many of us do share that in common, Toby took it to the next level. At around 30 years old, he began inserting himself into various online gang blogs, pages, looking to be put on, basically looking to be recruited as a gang member. Now, as evident from the before and after photos of Toby, the idea of what being a gang member should look like soon followed. The face tattoos came abruptly. The whole style and demeanor that Toby possessed changed. Now, his bandmates and family can attest to this. Toby, over the years, has tried to claim that he was a four-corner hustler, an imperial gangster, a land king, a pyroman out of California, and most notably, an 18th in California Satan disciple. Fast forward to 2019, he could be seen with various Satan disciples inspired tattoos on his arms, an almighty bishop's emblem going down by his right eye. Around this time, a few of us started seeing these pages on Instagram, Reddit, and Flickr by the name of Chi-Town Hood Art. The page featured mainly photos and short captions about various Chicago gang graffiti tags and a few old school sent-in photos. The account, which I noticed, grew to almost 15,000 followers over the course of 1 year. Certainly an accomplishment and a testament to Toby's diligence towards the subject. Now, however, when asked by his followers what his background was, Toby gave very vague answers. Many of us wonder where this fella came from because we've never heard of him before. And in this field, man, everybody knows everybody to some degree, right? Everybody knows somebody. So when I asked around what he was, an older same disciple told me he's a white guy with face tattoos that suddenly came around within the last couple years. Now, I eventually reached out to him through direct messaging, DMs, and got the same answer with a very vague introduction. Now, he implied that he was too busy to talk, which later made a lot of sense considering the band's touring schedule, because this guy's going on tour half the year. But I get it, man, you're too busy to talk. The way that he talked, though, however, seemed too forced. The gang language which he discussed, that did not feel native to him. The years went on, and I returned out of my military contract back home to my old neighborhood here by Western Avenue. And I started hearing a few things from several old online friends, mainly that a certain individual online was trying to tarnish my reputation. And he was asking around about me too, like, what's my background? All right, I'll show you my background. This caught me by surprise because I was never known to cause any drama or beef on the online blogs. Nor did I wish to create any new enemies, yet I kept hearing about this account. Eventually, I found the source of the problem. Okay, it was Chi-Town Hord, aka Toby Francis Jr. Now, I did not know how to approach the situation, nor the reason for its cause. So I wondered, what kind of an issue could he have with me? When I asked around some Mormon, I was told it was because I was a younger white guy that claimed to be in the streets as a gang member. Apparently, this fact seemed impossible to Toby, so he began to orchestrate a smear campaign against me, calling me a fraud, saying that Chi West doesn't exist, that I'm making all of it up, that it's just me doing the graffiti. Yeah, good one, Toby. It's sad to say, though, a lot of y'all fell for this nonsense. Okay, now as I now know, he began creating fake burner accounts, some of which that we have right here, man. We got all of that evidence, paperwork on you, Toby. Yeah, we even got the login, too. He began to create fake burner accounts showing old personal photos of me and my guys when we first hopped off the porch and started hanging out. These accounts still exist, but accumulated a very small following. Toby's next move, which came earlier this year, put us over the edge at Chi West. The cojones on this dork are unbelievable to pull a stunt like this. So as some of us occasionally post current and historical finds on Reddit, where Toby is a moderator with the name Chi-Town Hord TV, a seemingly new account popped up criticizing and verbally threatening all of my guys and acquaintances here, right? Talking about that we know your background, that we talked to some of the guys out in various of the projects. Yeah, okay, we really believe that one. This account's name was Rocks and Blows off of 290. Shortly, after responding to this account with a question like, why are you coming at us like this, bro? What did we do to you? I received a direct personal message from it. Showing my neighborhood. He took photos of my neighborhood here around the corner by Campbell. Voicing various threats against my younger guys here that like to hang out here. You know, things of the nature of walking up and pointing guns. These threats included, pointing pistols at my guys and taking photos. For representing Chi West in general, this is not too uncommon. This happens, I get it. This was not justified for him to do, however, because he never met us. It's the first time that we heard of this account. Okay, now as I questioned this account further, and I came to find out what he claimed. Apparently, his name was Klepto, and he was representing the Taylor and Oakley Sane disciples. He claimed to have walked by my neighborhood and this particular schoolyard at Chopin just to test if we would check him. Now, being checked is a gang term for spotting an enemy and seeing what his affiliation might be. Now, if I was here that particular night, I would have most likely caught it, but these guys did not catch it. Now, he did not look too particularly gangbanger-ish. So proceeds to message me several times that night talking about, well, I walked past your guys and nobody checked me, man. Y'all not on shit, as they say, right? I got it. Oh, well, I talked to my guys. They said that they didn't see anyone that looked like a gang member. To be fair, a person like this does not look like a gang member to me, man, right? No, it does not look like that. So, I trust their judgment. Eventually, that same night, man, I received a photo of one of our dumpsters down that alley. We could show you later on. Tagged up with the T.O. That stands for Taylor and Oakley. And I quickly brainstormed who this fella might be. So when I asked around some of my buddies to judge it by the hand style of the graffiti tag, nobody had an idea because this was a brand new tag. And now he claimed to live in my neighborhood down on Campbell Avenue behind us. Which I could not believe because I know every male from the teenage years to about 50 years old around this neighborhood. Man, that name, it certainly didn't ring any bells. Considering that somebody claiming a sane disciple in this hood would last, yeah, that seemed very fishy to me. So a few days later, Chi-Town Hood Art's account got a sent-in photo of a Taylor and Oakley Sane Disciples graffiti down in Douglas Park. You remember that one? Yeah, taunting the 21st and Albany Land Kings and the traveling vice lords from Cali Mob. Now I noticed that there was a name tag by this thing saying Klepto. And I immediately noticed the familiar font and hand style. And I knew this was the Rocks and Blows off of 290 Reddit account. So I messaged him back. What's happening, Klepto? Did you put those up? Immediately, I received complaints from him saying not to mention his name as the Land Kings are looking for him. And I told him that he lost the privilege of having my respect. Because of that little stunt that he pulled the other night with the dumpster, with the taunting of my guys over here. Fuck that. So within minutes of this text from Klepto, I receive a very familiar text out of Chi-Town Hood Art's Reddit account saying, what is that issue between me and Klepto? Now, how, logically speaking, right? Logically speaking, man, how does it make sense that within about a minute or two, I get two messages, two separate accounts, but they know what's going on? Did Klepto keep in touch with Chi-Town Hood Art? Perhaps, but I don't think so. I think the real reason is that they're the same person. Chi-Town Hood Art is Klepto, and that is Toby Francis Jr. So now that I come before you guys with this assortment of information, paperwork, court paperwork too, because this guy's a woman beater too. He beat up his baby mama. All right, that's not cool at all, man. Fuck them. I'm honestly not sure why the same disciples let this goofy even represent them. Because any real motherfuckers know them in my background, and they could testify to my authenticity of character. But to back up a dork and a goofy like that and say that he's the same disciple, some of you fucking as these, man, you told me that shit, because I asked about him, like, man, okay, who's Klepto and who's Chi-Town Hood Art? Man, y'all vouch for him. Come on, that can't be happening. This guy's a peon. He's a fake, bro. But all right, let's go down the list, because he's not it. There's a lot more like that. All right, continuing my list. Some of the other fellas online, such as Mark Torre, real name is Mark Ivka, a Croatian white male in his 40s, claiming to be Latino, man, lives out in San Bernardino, California. It's saying that he's a former Latin count. Now we know the Latin count's 13th, man. I'll tell you what, they never heard of him because we asked around about him. They never heard of him. This guy's claiming Harwood Heights, man, by Armour Square, Chinatown. Man, which one is it, Mark? Come on, man, stop the cap, bro. 40-year-old man, man, worried about me doing what I do, man. I don't bother you, man. You keep on stealing my photos and videos, bro. That's not cool, man. You put the fucking watermarks too. Call you Watermark Tory. Yeah, that's a good name for you. One more fella, man. This guy's a work of art. Michael Hillman, a.k.a. Shy Townsend, a.k.a. Odell and Waveland. Mr. Stooge sometimes goes by that too. 1980s tagger for the Simon City Royals, right? Made a little name for himself, but he never amounted to much. By the 1990s, they asked him to not be a Royal anymore. Defenders themselves. All right, now what does that tell me? People ask you to not come around. I get it, that's happening. That happened. But why do you jump online and keep on representing as a royal, talking all this shit about me, about my people that are close to me, man, even these guys, if they jump on to defend me, it comes at them. Man, let's take a look at your background, man. What do you really do, huh? Like, it's how that you got arrested not too long ago for harassing a tenant, putting hands on your tenants? Man, now you can't come around your own house, bro. What the fuck? Got a protection order against you. That's wild. At 55 years old, man, you still pull this shit, huh? I see you, yeah. Well, we'll let fucking everybody know. Another fella that I'd like to address, Mr. Brian Hodge of Jefferson Park. Around 50 years old, man, Brian Hodge, man, who goes by Joey C-Note on Facebook, man, likes to claim that he's a Jefferson Park C-Note back in the 1980s and 90s. Now, you see, Brian knows a little bit more about me than the other guys for two reasons. The first reason being that his youngest son was one of our guys in Chi West. Man, I turned him out about 10 years ago for a little bit. The second reason, that Brian and his wife, they work at a DMV in Lake Zurich. What does that mean? They could easily get addresses and personal information that they share online. It was evident by these photos, Brian has been shopping around my personal information with some of the fellas that have an issue with me. Yeah, when I confronted Brian, man, he was in denial, talking like a short little bitch that he is. Some years ago, before we really went sideways between the two of us, Brian received close to $1,500 from me for an assortment of old sweaters and cards. When he couldn't deliver him on that promise, dude went ghost on me, right? Now, I asked around about him. None of the C-Notes claimed him. They said that he hung around some of the bars that they did, but that was as far as that went. So, Brian, man, you still owe me a fucking grand, man. I'm still waiting on that money. Pay up, buddy. It's time. Yeah, well, that's all for today. There's many lessons to be learned. Can't trust anyone's word online. If I'm wrong, man, I challenge these fellas to make a video of their own correcting me. Yeah, but I highly doubt that they're going to do that. You know, I have nothing to apologize for, nor do I expect any apologies back. These goofies need to get chased out of town. Said anyone that still trusts them, stands by their side, do better, man. Because you're a goofy too if you believe them.
Oh, he's like, yeah, they kicked me out of the Strokes for getting fat, but I don't know. I think it's because I tried to bring my Beagle backstage at Irving Plaza, and they get all tired, you know. No, screw you, not you. I'm not talking to you. Some guy just called me Jack Black. All right. Let's see what he really said.
I was talking to my friend about some art that I saw in the park.
He's got Catherine Zeta-Jones' haircut from Chicago. But on him it works. Okay, who's next?